Thanks, guys, for coming. Today I'm going to do my speech on Barry Bonds. It has to go be based on my persuasive speech, so this is just going to be a quick, informative speech. All right. In order to excel, you must be completely dedicated to your chosen sport. You must also be prepared to work hard and be willing to accept constructive criticism. Without a total 100% dedication, you won't be able to do this. These words are not mine. They're of Hall of Famer Willie Mays, who just happens to be the godfather of the man I'm going to speak about today, Barry Bonds, in my opinion, the best player of all time. In this speech, I'm going to introduce you to Barry Bonds, the player. We'll start with his life before Major League Baseball, his life as a big leaguer, and finally what others had to say about Mr. Bonds. Let's begin with the life before the big leagues. Barry Bonds was born July 24th, 1964 in Riverside, California, his father being Bobby Bonds, three-time All-Star, three-time Golden Glover. He was the first to hit 30 home runs, steal 30 bases. His dad had made his MLB debut 4 years after his birth, and his godfather was Willie Mays. I found out on biography.com, I looked up Barry Bonds on biography.com, and that his distant cousin is Reggie Jackson, who you might know as an Oakland A or New York Yankee as Mr. October. So he's got good bloodline, good genes. He played his high school ball in California, where he was a career .404 hitter. And out of high school, he was drafted by the Giants in the second round in 1982. But instead of taking the money and going pro, he chose to go to Arizona State, where he was all Pac-10 selection 3 years in a row, and ended his career at Arizona State with a .347 batting average, 45 home runs, and 175 RBIs. The Pirates drafted him in 1985 in the first round with their 6th overall selection, and big things happened after that. Now Barry Bonds is a big leaguer. He played 1 year minor league ball, made his debut at the age of 21. His stats are arguably the best time. I'm going to spend most of my time just right now just going over his stats. I got all this off of baseballreference.com. Usually when I ever look up any kind of stats, I go there and type in the name. It'll show everything minor league, their stats their entire career. But anyways, he played 7 years with Pittsburgh, 15 years with San Francisco. He's a 14-time All-Star, 2 times with Pittsburgh, 12 with San Francisco, 7-time MVP, 8-time Golden Glover, which Golden Glove is basically the best defensive player for that position. A 12-time Silver Slugger Award winner. Barry Bonds, he also holds or has a share of 21 records. Most important being home runs in a single season, where he hit 73, which is also the biggest steroid. That's the one main season where they're looking at him at the steroids. It was 2001. His home runs in a career, he's hit 762. Second, of course, is Hank Aaron at 755. He has the record for most walks in a season, 232. Intentional walks, 120. And MVP awards, which is 7. Those are just the main ones. Lastly, I want to look at what others have to say about Barry Bonds. And by doing this, I went to the Baseball Almanac and looked up quotes on Barry Bonds. Here's just some quick ones. Barry Bonds is a high school coach. His college coach at Arizona State said he is clearly the most talented player I've ever had the pleasure to coach. Joe Rizzo, who's just a ESPN guy. Barry Bonds is the best player I've ever seen. He can be pitched to, but very carefully. Felipe Alou, who was Barry's coach for 5 years in San Francisco, said Barry is a reincarnation of Ted Williams with more power. Ted Williams is arguably, every rating system you see, is one of the top 10 players of all time. Just another thing from another manager, Pittsburgh Pirates manager Jim Leyland. He was all 7 years when Bonds was with the Pirates. That was his manager. He said Barry Bonds was like Joe Namath or Muhammad Ali. he can make a statement and go out and back it up. Not a lot of guys, in fact, can do that. Just basically, there's pages and pages of just people talking about how amazing he was as a baseball player. But in conclusion, I've given you all the background information you truly need to know why Barry Bonds arguably is the best player in MLB history. I've told you about his life before Major League Baseball. He had Major League Baseball success. I've told